Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you had a very Merry Christmas and a very Happy New Year, but 2018 is here, and as such, we have a job to do. My name is Rain, welcome to Doctor Who Reviews, and today we are going to be reviewing the Christmas special of the last year. That still sounds weird to say, given that we've just started the new year, but let's just go with it. Twice Upon a Time, featuring the end of one era and the beginning of the next era. And joining me to discuss this episode are two special guests, and by special guests I mean our two regulars. Firstly, to my virtual left, you better not laugh, you better not cry, or he'll stick up behind you and scream the word mirrors, it's FreezingInferno.
That's good. I like that. Hello.
Just the reaction I was hoping for. And to my virtual right, all she wanted for Christmas was to remain sober, it's Kat. I said sober, not unconscious.
What? Oh, hi. Wait, what are we doing again?
This is going to be great.
Mirrors. That's what we're doing.
No, we're not doing mirrors. Not yet. Don't jump the gun.
I love that you've accepted finally. We're not doing mirrors. Not yet.
Yes, well, you're going to do it whatever I say, so I might as well just not fight it. But yeah, Twice Upon a Time, and getting used to me saying this, it was the end of an era.
Yeah.
And it really felt like the end of an era.
It was the end of two eras, actually.
It wasn't the complete end of an era, but it did well enough.
So this episode was an hour long, and so we got an awful lot to discuss, but we should probably start with the main man. Well, one of the main men. I think I've made that joke before as well. It's been a long time. This was, of course, Peter Capaldi's last stand as the Doctor. Last appearance as the Doctor. So how do we all think he did for his swan song?
Good, as always.
Yeah. I mean, he does what he does best. He gave a really cool, awesome speech.
Oh God, yes. That speech at the end, we that was something else.
It was great.
Oddly enough, my parents didn't like it.
I'm not entirely surprised about that.
Of course, they also aren't sure about the next Doctor we have going on, but you know.
I'm really not surprised about that.
Oh God. Well, my family doesn't even watch Doctor Who, so...
Well, to be fair, they've seen Broadchurch, so they apparently did not like her character at all.
They do realise that she's not going to be the same character
I know,
as she was. The same way that Malcolm Tucker wasn't the 12th Doctor.
They're old, you ever look at the Tumblr blog, Dr. Flicking Who?
Yes, that is a great blog. That is a great Tumblr blog. Is it fair to say, then, that the central theme throughout all of this, then, is that the Doctor is a dead man walking, so to speak?
Basically, yeah.
Because several times he says...
death in general.
Several times he says, I'm dying. You know, I'm not going to go on. This is the end for me. I've changed too many times. I don't want to change again.
So, here's what I'm thinking it is. The whole reason that he's so, all against it, it's not because of character development or anything like that. It's the fact that Moffat knew that everything was ending. His reign was ending. This Doctor's reign was ending. They were going to get rid of all the companions, everything. So the entire episode is about death and your acceptance of death.
Yes, I think that's a very good point. I think that's a very good point, well made. Because I'm thinking back to a quote. I can't remember which episode it's from. Sorry, but the Doctor, Peter Capaldi's Doctor, the 12th Doctor, says, everything ends and that's always sad, but everything begins as well, and that's always happy.
That's a good one, yeah.
And that really felt like that quote brought to life in the form of an episode, kind of.
Yeah.
It is a swan song, but it's also a celebration. It's a celebration of what we've had.
Kind of like when Clara died.
Yeah, kind of.
Yes, I'm sorry, Frez. I'm sorry. You're gonna have to hold on for a little bit, but it really is just not as, about being sad because death is coming, but because, just being there for the person.
I'm
enjoying the person while they're around.
Yes, I'm just going to revisit a rant I went into earlier in the year, though, where if they hadn't revealed who the next Doctor was, this idea that he was the last of his line and he was going to end it all would have more impact. we know that Jodie Whittaker is taking over at the end of the episode. We know that.
Yeah.
So we know he's not going to die. He's not going to sacrifice himself. He's not going to end it all.
Of course, that could also have been a red herring where it's like, look, we have a new doctor. It's a woman. And then at the end, they're like, psych! Doctor Who is dead now because of all of you.
That would have been a preemptive fridging. That would have been incredible.
Incredibly terrible.
I didn't say that. It wouldn't have been, but it would have still been incredible. I thought the opening scenes were interesting, where they basically decided to revisit the final scene from the Doctor Falls not once but twice.
Oh, you want to talk about the opening? Previously
We're
on Doctor Who.
We're going to get to that when we get to David Bradley.
9 episodes ago.
That was amazing. We'll get to that when we get to Bradley, which is not too long from here, because there isn't really that much to say about Peter Capaldi that hasn't been said in the past reviews that we've done.
Good. He was consistently good.
He was, as he always was.
He continues to be better than he was in Forest.
I knew you'd bring that up.
Like the one place where you can say he faltered was Forest, where he was just on autopilot.
I will never stop bringing up how horrible Forest was.
Just like I'll never stop bringing up how horrible Lie of the Land was.
It wasn't even the worst episode of Forest of the Night.
But at least Capaldi was like the best part of that episode.
He was trying in that one.
Yeah.
He was the only good thing about it.
Again, I completely forgot the Lie of the Land existed.
Well, there you are,
That's
then.
How bad
I envy you.
My work here is done.
That's how bad it is. You don't even freaking remember that it's a real thing.
But yeah,
I never forget.
They revisit the final scene for the Doctor Falls, once from David Bradley's perspective, and then once again from the captain's. Now that was interesting to me, but it also kind of came across as padding. It's like, we're a couple of minutes short of hitting the hour-long runtime. Oh, let's just put in the same scene again twice.
What? Padding in this episode? No.
There was quite a bit of padding in places.
Yeah, just a bit.
It's okay. It's Christmas Day. Everyone's drunk and just don't really care.
And overdosed on turkey and Brussels sprouts and Christmas pudding and whatever
I was
else you have to
actually
read.
half asleep. I was half asleep because I had to work that day and then drive 2 hours
there you go. Christmas Day Doctor Who. It has to clear a low bar because we're all basically fucked up.
We're all stuck in a drunken fat haze.
That's every day for me.
Yeah. Honestly, though,
I'm usually just fat.
The plot was serviceable, but it didn't really light any worlds on fire for me.
I liked the theme that ran through the episode.
I'm afraid, as has been so many times the case throughout Moffat's tenure as showrunner, the plot was secondary.
Yeah.
That does tend to happen.
I can allow it this time because it's the final episode for our current Doctor and our current showrunner and his companions and even the music writer.
Now what are you going to talk about? No Murray fucking Gold.
Yeah, that's going to be perhaps even a worse loss for me than Peter Capaldi, because his music has made so many great scenes even better. And we're not going to have that.
I'm going to say something that I don't ever say, and someone's going to fall over, collapsing their heart from a heart attack. Moffat sometimes really sucks at doing plots, but when he sucks at them, he usually does really well at character development.
See, that's exactly why I love the Moffat era so much. Even if they stumble on the plot, it's like the character beats that really resonate with me.
Yeah.
Like, that was basically half of why I loved Clara and 12 so much.
And now, excuse me, I had to go cut off my hand for saying anything nice about Moffat.
I think it'd be better if you arrange for an ambulance for the 5 people that just fainted as a result of what you just said. But yeah, if you want to cut off your hand in penance, that's fine too.
God.
The only other thing I can really think about with the Doctor that doesn't go into his big regeneration scene in the last few minutes of the episode, because that deserves its own discussion, I think, is how him sacrificing himself for one person, in this case the Captain, is nothing particularly new. I mean, it's how the 5th Doctor goes out in the Caves of Androzani. It's how the 9th Doctor goes out in the Parting of the Ways. It's how the 10th Doctor goes out, sacrificing himself to save Wilf. Wolf? Who the hell's Wolf?
He's from Star Trek.
Sacrificing himself to save Wilf in the End of Time Part 2. And in the first draft of The Time of the Doctor, it's how the 11th Doctor was supposed to go out, sacrificing himself for one person.
Well, let's be fair. The Doctor would sacrifice themselves for a wolf, but it had to be a bad wolf.
Oh! See, I knew I'd open the door, but I was just hoping you'd just ignore it, but no, you just blasted right through it.
Oh, you really don't know me.
The door was open a crack, and now the door doesn't exist because you've blown it off its hinges.
I see forward that bitch.
Yes, you did. Let's move on, shall we? Because 12 was not the only Doctor to appear in this episode. It had been well publicised long before broadcast. In fact, it was even brought up in the last episode of the main series. David Bradley is the Doctor. And my God, was he ever the Doctor?
Well, was he? Was he really?
I thought he was
Yes
great.
and no.
I thought he was great.
He works well. He does. But, well, with the caveat that he's not really William Hartnell. But then again, that's been true since at least 1983.
Yeah, but that sequence at the start where Hartnell became Bradley was great.
Oh, that was cute. As I said, 709 episodes ago.
Yes.
Can I safely say, Rainiac, have you seen any of the first Doctor?
The Aztec, the very first one that they did, was it the Aztecs or was it the Cavemen?
Child's the first one.
And Another Child, yeah. They showed that on BBC 4 a few years ago to celebrate the 50th anniversary. That's the only one I've seen.
Well,
Frez?
That doesn't really give you an idea of what Hartnell was like because,
then, Fred, you can say that you've seen a lot of him.
Well, it's an era that I haven't really delved into, but I've probably seen more than a lot of you. I've seen some pretty decent
Have you seen more than one episode?
Yes.
Okay, you're the authority on the first Doctor then that we've got. Go.
Really fast though, Rainiac, did you like the first Doctor portrayed in this episode?
I didn't find him that bad at all, honestly, but maybe it's because I don't have anything to base him off from the olden days.
Right. I have to agree. There were some points where it was a little bit much, but otherwise I rather liked him.
Yeah,
Frez.
we're going to get into that.
Oh, you know what else was a bit much, by the way?
Hold on.
Sorry.
Frez,
Yes?
did you like the way this Doctor was portrayed?
It's serviceable.
I think that's the big difference.
Yeah.
In how people perceive this Doctor. If we throw out all the sexist bullshit, because, there are going to be people who talk about that whether
we'll get to the sexist bullshit.
I got words to say about that.
We're throwing it out for right now. Hold your fucking horses. Tumblr, put down your keyboards. We will get to it in a minute. What I'm saying is, depending on your perception of what you've seen of the first Doctor, it could very change what you think of this guy as he's, doing the Doctor. Not in that way. Tumblr, keyboards down now.
I will say this. I haven't seen much of William Hartnell, but there was a docudrama on the origins of Doctor Who for the 50th anniversary again, called An Adventure in Space and Time, which is brilliant. I think I've recommended that before. He played William Hartnell, which of course means that at times he was playing the first Doctor, and it was very much similar to that portrayal.
Yeah. Well, the difference there is
I saw the Aztec episode, and honestly, I found him to be a condescending, racist asshole, but,
Well, yeah, that was still first season. I don't really like the first Doctor's era that much, but I've seen a lot of it.
So, can I safely be okay in saying that he's more like the first type of the first season of the Doctor rather than he is when he finally regenerated?
I guess. I haven't really seen that much of the first season.
More like that.
I can't really relate to this, so...
The first Doctor was less of like a sexist idiot and more of just like a grumpy asshole.
From what I know, he was a grumpy old man.
I do know he was at least condescending to people he thought were inferior to him, which was humans ever.
That does. And Rainiac's seen Unearthly Child, so he can back that up.
Yes.
I think.
I can back that up.
But he did soften over his 3-year run. So
he was an asshole, but like I said to Rainiac, he was more that racist grandfather that you talk to and really love, but sometimes he says stupid shit, and you just kind of have to ignore it.
Quite literally grandfather, of course, because he was.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's good.
I'll tell you what was dreadful, though. Ben and Paulie's wigs.
Oh, God. What the fuck? That didn't even look like Ben. That didn't even look like Michael Craig's, for God's sake.
It wasn't. It was two new actors.
I know it wasn't, because he's fucking dead.
Oh, is he? I had no idea. Because Anneke Wills is alive.
From the old actors to the new actors, I'm like, wait, something isn't quite right.
I think Anneke Wills is still alive, is she not, Polly?
Yeah, Anneke Wills is still alive.
Yeah, but
I
no,
don't think she quite fit.
that was a bit jarring, to say the least.
I don't even know why they were in there. It was just like one scene. Like
that was like going from Broadway stage actors.
You don't know why they were in there, Frez.
Actors.
You don't know why they were in there.
I'm guessing it is because they had more 10th Planet shit in the.
How long have you watched this show now? It's fan service.
Okay.
And badly done fan service at that, but.
Yeah, well,
like I said, Broadway to middle school play. It was very strange.
It was known that Polly was going to be in the episode because she was in the trailer, the Comic-Con trailer that was shown.
Yeah, she was in there for 5 seconds. Woo!
And she was in the episode for 10 seconds.
You know what the Superior episode featuring Ben and Polly is?
Woo!
Oh, no.
Right?
No. It's an end of an era. We're ending the old memes.
Keeping the trope alive! It's the Underwater Menace.
No, I'm just remembering when Rainey actually yelled that out and said, "Now I'm marrying you."
We're never going to let that go.
That was a highlight.
Never.
That was a highlight.
I watched that, like, after the last time we mentioned it. I watched it twice in a row.
I made a supercut of it for YouTube.
I watched it like 5 times in a row.
Kat, I made a supercut of it for YouTube because even I recognised the comedic gold that it was.
I know. I watched that twice.
So yeah, I think...
As much as I love talking about mirrors and Rainiac saying mirrors, what else can we say about David Bradley?
Well, he did give rise to, I think, the funniest moment of the episode for me. It's a tie between him wearing the sunglasses and Capaldi saying, "I'll never take those off."
Yeah.
And when the Doctor was the 12th Doctor referred to his older self as Mary Berry,
Jesus Christ,
who is is a British cook who was previously on the Great British Bake Off, and now I can't see the difference. David Bradley and Mary Berry looking exactly the same way. He also referred to him as Corporal Jones from Dead's Army and Mr. Pastry. And I did a little bit of looking into this, and it's actually quite interesting.
Goddamn, how much British references did he call?
Well, the Mr. Pastry was a character played by an actor called Richard Hearn. Why is this significant? Because Richard Hearn was once considered to be the 4th Doctor.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
But he wanted to play him like Mr. Pastry, so they said, you know what, we'll pass.
At least Capaldi didn't call him Mr. Blobby.
Oh, I still can't believe that thing had a Christmas #1.
Well, you know what else was I think it was Christmas #1. You know what else was a Christmas #1? I'm going to spend my Christmas with a Dalek.
It was not a Christmas #1.
Oh, well.
Maybe
it was a #1.
No, it wasn't. I'm not even sure it exists.
I swear to God, it exists.
Okay. I think you're trying to... I think you're trying to set me up again, but...
Google that shit right here, right now, on air.
Okay. What's it called again?
I'm going to spend my Christmas with a Dalek.
I'm gonna spend my...
Oh my God, it exists.
Holy shit.
It actually exists. It was not a #1. It was not a #1 because it's a 2015 record, but...
It has a record.
Oh no, it is. That's a cover version. That's a cover version.
Yeah.
The Go-Go's.
It's not the Go-Go's.
The Go-Go's were from Newcastle. It was not a #1, no.
But it exists.
It exists.
Trying to turn the Sinister Daleks into another version of the Chipmunks. Okay, I need to listen to this
Alvin!
later.
Alvin! Alvin!
Oh, God. Alvin, we're ready to record the Christmas song.
You are an enemy of the gods. You must be destroyed.
Okay, that's one throwback I will allow.
You are awful. I love it.
It's the last Moffat era episode.
I say I'll allow it. But let's be honest, I haven't got a choice.
You're the editor. You have all the choice in the world.
Yeah, but you two just do whatever.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's taken me 34 episodes to realise this.
Power! Unlimited power!
Okay, we're going to have to bring the tone down slightly to mention the whole...
Let's rein it back in a little bit.
The whole casual sexism thing, because this was the most criticised moment of the episode, and I think rightly so.
Who wants to go first for this? Okay, Tumblr, now you may pick up your key.
I mean, to be completely honest, it fit the time period because it was like the 60s and shit was all wrong in the 60s. And let's be completely fair here. Bill kind of was a black woman, and the 60s were still in the middle of the whole civil rights movement.
Well, you see...
It's like, I'll say that it was right for the time period, but Moffat was wrong to put it in.
I get the argument that, it's a reflection of the era of the attitudes of the 60s, but from what I understand, William Hartnell's Doctor wasn't like that.
Yeah.
So the era he was in might be, but he wasn't, and that's why people have accused... And I hate this term, but I've got to include it, because it is a criticism that's been levied at the episode. Moffat's been accused of virtue signalling.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
I'm not going to go into what that means. Look it up in your own time.
Okay.
Can you type it out for me then? Because I have no idea what that is.
I did mispronounce it, but virtue signalling. It's the idea that you are signalling that you are virtuous, basically.
Oh, so I'm better than you are.
It's a very rudimentary example of virtue signaling, but yes. Don't make me mention it again.
I'd never do whole sexist things like, say, jolly good smacked bottom. That's an example of virtue signaling.
I do hate the term, so I'm sorry I had to bring it up, but it is a criticism that was levied against the episode. We had to mention it once. We've now mentioned it. Well, we can move on. What was your thoughts on this ill-judged scene?
So, the truth lies somewhere in the middle. Hashtag centralist.
Oh, God.
Yeah,
say that again.
So, to talk about Kat's point there, that it was the 60s and it was just like that, my counterpoint is that the Doctor, the character of the first Doctor, the first incarnation of the Doctor, William Hartnell, as played by David Bradley, he's an immortal time-traveling space alien. He ain't from the 60s, so why should he be spouting off 60s shit? Because the television show he was on was made in that era?
Yeah, good point.
On the other hand...
I would like to give my rebuttal that, yes, because he was run by a whole bunch of white men who would think the exact same way.
Actually... First era Doctor Who was a woman and an Asian man, but...
Hot damn! Okay, never mind then.
That's true. I'm Verity Lambert and Wyrus Hussein.
I just realised I have never brought up virtue signaling, and well, actually, in the same episode, I am awful.
Good God, maybe you should be on the virtual right.
Or the virtual outright.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Okay, but on the other hand, I can concede one point to Kat. The jolly good spanked bottom thing that David Bradley says in this episode is an actual fucking quote.
What?
Yeah.
That's from the Dalek Invasion of Earth.
Oh my God.
That is apparently an actual goddamn quote from 60s Doctor Who. So you're not entirely without merit. I don't know. I don't like it. It's kind of faithful to the era, but I think I would prefer if they left it out and were more faithful to the character. You can see what I'm saying by that?
Yeah, definitely.
It was the 60s Doctor Who. I guess I'd better have him talk about getting them women to clean. But what Moffat, I think, was trying to go for, you mentioned earlier that William Hartnell's kind of like the racist grandpa. This is Christmas dinner with racist grandpa.
Yeah, exactly.
So William Hartnell's talking about William Hartnell. David Bradley, as William Hartnell, is talking about all this shit, and Peter Capaldi is just your woke guy trying to shut up the racist grandpa and keep politics out of Christmas dinner, and just being like, let's not talk about that. Hey, look, a space thing.
Did you just say woke guy?
Maybe.
We're off the air. You do realise that? After today, we are off the air.
Oh, I see. When you say virtue signal.
No. We were off the air before that. We were off the air before that. You just put the final nail on the coffin, but I think I already killed it. It truly is the end of an era.
God.
So let's move on. You've mentioned Bill with regards to the casual sexism. Bill's role in this episode is very interesting. Not your typical companion.
I thought it was going to be Susan.
Oh, yeah. When they said, the Chamber of the Dead said, as a reward, we will let you speak to somebody who you once lost. I thought, Susan? But of course, it's not Susan because the first Doctor's not supposed to be there. That's the whole point. He's the outlier. He's the intruder. They want to speak to.
Susan, not Clara. It's not anybody I would actually want to see. It's Bill back.
No. It actually was Clara. It was Clara, but
at the fucking end, which we're not talking about yet.
No, but that was the reward. But yes, we're not talking about that yet.
Don't get me started. Don't get me excited.
You can all tick off. We don't talk about that yet on your bingo cards if you're sitting at home.
It really is the end of an era. We're getting all out.
We are, yeah. I think at this point we may have said end of an era an awful lot at this point, but hey. Now there was an interesting theory posited by one of our listeners, a guy called Michael Ross.
This guy.
Yeah, he's cool, but he thinks that maybe when Heather collected Bill at the end of the Doctor Falls, that could have been a glass avatar. I'm not sure. I'm not sure because of the whole fuel thing, but it's possible because remember that Bill can't remember what happened after Heather saved her.
Plus, she had actually died, and the whole idea is that they bring back the people who died from the moment before they died. Yeah,
and then wipe their minds. Wipe their minds and return to the time stream. So it's entirely possible that Heather, whether or not Moffat meant this to be actually be the case, it's not just another example of him making it up as he goes along. It could be that whole scene in the Doctor Falls was Bill being retrieved by testimony.
That would require a lot of planning. I'm not sure Moffat's capable of that.
Well, he brought back a planet from he mentioned the Doctor dances, so I'm not so sure.
That requires a lot of planning. I'm not sure Moffat's capable of that.
Did you just mirror yourself then?
Also, I made you something.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Oh, no.
Please put this up.
It's very, very. It's very, very.
Oh, God. Yeah. Randy, put it up on the video right now.
It's already up on the video right now.
And then put it in Wolf Job.
We've made that joke before.
Is it bad that the entire time we've been talking, I've been making that?
Get some new material. There was another interesting thing about Bill, who's not actually Bill, it's just Bill's memories. But
the entire point of the episode is that it is Bill.
Yes. It's a version of Bill. It's a version of Bill. It's not the actual Bill.
It's Bill.
It's a version of Bill.
I hate to bring this up, but I'm going to pull a little bit of religion into Doctor Who. I know that's sacrilege in both things, but it could be that testimony is sort of Doctor Who's version of souls.
Yes.
And that's why they're trying to insist it's not Bill's memories, this is Bill.
But that really, that kind of
her soul.
That sort of comes into conflict with, or perhaps creates a parallel with Darkwater.
Yeah, I was thinking
but we don't.
too.
And what Missy was doing with dead people's consciousness.
We don't need to associate this with
Well,
Dark Water.
Testimony gets them first, and then a half second later, Missy gets them.
Yeah.
Possibly. That's a nice way to hand wave it.
That's pretty much exactly what we've established, is that just before they die, so...
That's a nice way to hand wave it, I suppose. I thought that she wasn't really a companion. She was mainly there as a cipher. She did okay, Pearl Mackie, but I'd already said goodbye to her at the end of the Doctor Falls.
She was good. So
I would argue she wasn't even here as a companion. It was more the first Doctor was here as the companion.
Yeah, she's more the Doctor's conscience.
No, I would say she was more here as the teacher.
Yeah, I quite like the bit where she complains to the Doctor that he can't see her even when he looks right at her. Because that's similar to what the Doctor said to Clara back in Deep Breath.
Yeah, so it's like she was the teacher. She was the one here to sort of not only help us through, but also help the Doctor through.
Because before I got on my whole mirror kick, that was my reading of Clara in Series 8.
There was a before?
Teacher to the Doctor. Yeah. Mm.
Holy shit.
There was a before, yeah.
I don't remember.
And then he met Jane Campbell, and the world was never the same again.
Well, I didn't meet her.
And then you were introduced to the work of Jane Campbell, and then the world was never the same again. Don't get pedantic with me, Sunshine. It's New Year's Day. I do not have to put up this bullshit. I am choosing to put up with this bullshit for the sake of everyone else, but I don't have to put up with this. What else was... Oh yeah, we're jumping around a bit, but I did like the sequence where Testimonies is confronting the Doctor with him being the Doctor of War, and all the various different titles and all the stock footage flying around their heads.
Cute.
And Bill looking really excited about that for some reason.
Oh boy, I get to watch a clip from fucking Warriors of the Deep.
He's referred to as the Shadow of the Valiard, the Oncoming Storm, the Imp of the Pandorica, the Beast of Transilor, the Destroyer of Skaro, the Butcher of Skull Moon, and of course the Doctor of War. And you also get that clip of Davros calling him, I name you! You are the Destroyer of Worlds! Which was great. Good to see that back.
I'm just sad that we technically saw the coat without actually seeing the coat.
Yeah. Yeah, we did. So you mentioned that Bill was not the companion this time around.
Yeah.
That role was sort of played a little bit by another character. And we knew this guy was in it since the Comic-Con trailer. I am, of course, referring to the Captain. Played by Mark Gatiss.
He was nice.
He was mostly a plot device.
For Doctor Who.
He was mostly a plot device.
Well,
yeah.
I would argue the best thing he's done for Doctor Who was the Crimson Aura.
I thought you'd like Sleep No More, Kat.
See, you guys, that's what was called a joke.
Oh.
You put it on your favourite... Oh, no. No, I get you. That's not the joke.
So, what's in that cup there, Rainier?
Jeeves, another brandy, quick. Because all British people are posh, don't you know that? And they have butlers. I was so outraged when I heard about that. I was so outraged when I read about that, my monocle fell out. Now, can we move on?
Well, let's also remember that Mark Gatiss also did the Lazarus Experiment, which was the Lazarus Experiment. So.
And he acted in that as well, yeah. But
Look,
I thought his
I don't
acting
know
was...
if that's a bad episode so much as it's a totally forgettable one.
Yeah, basically.
Oh, I still remember it from the nightmares it gave me.
Oh.
The monster is not well realised at all. It looks like really bad CGI.
It was really bad,
really
terrifying
bad
CGI. That will haunt my dreams.
Especially when his jaw opens up like a damn snake. Yeah, but I thought he acted this part well. For what it was. I like the fact that they explored the fact that he was not afraid to die, and then he had a chance to think about it, and he was afraid to die.
And hey, he has no excuse. He's totally allowed to be sexist.
It was 1915. Yeah, he's 1915. That
Totally allowed.
That okay? You got me.
Yeah, because that wasn't really brought up at all by the internet fandom, which was interesting. I think they were so outraged about what happened with David Bradley, it maybe just slipped their minds.
Well, he made like one crack. He laughed along with the Doctor at the sexist joke.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like 1 versus 6 or 7.
I really like the continuity of the brandy. By the way, one of Steven Moffat's favourite tricks brought back one more time.
So that's where it's gone.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
I also love the line. In 1500 years, I might have had a sip. Yeah.
Yes, and then we found out he did, but it wasn't him; it was the captain.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, but he was fine for what he was, and what he was, of course, was more fan service in the end. Because let's be honest, this was not a huge surprise because a lot of fans had guessed this character would be related to the Brigadier in some way.
It was a surprise
Grandpa.
to me.
Yeah, it's his grandfather.
It was a surprise to me. I had no idea.
I didn't know. I was like, but when it happened, I was like, oh, that's nice.
Yeah, it was another nice bit of nod to fan service, but
Yeah.
it didn't do anything particularly offensive with it, so that was fine.
Yeah, it
And with
didn't
a nice way-
zombify the man and make him fly around in space.
We don't talk about that.
I just did.
We really don't talk about
Cyberbraid does whatever a Cyberbraid does.
Yeah. So, can I bring up the other thing of his character? You know, the little bit of trivia.
Oh, are you talking about that beautiful truce?
Well,
Is it tied to the
that-
beautiful truce?
well, it's tied to how he was about to die.
Oh yes, I know what you're going to talk about. Go right ahead.
Yeah, so he's in the trench, aiming his gun at a German soldier. They're both having a standoff. And I didn't learn this until after I saw the episode. I recognized the man, but the German soldier is played by another Doctor Who writer. A lovely creator of such wonderful classics. Just kidding, it was Toby Whithouse.
Well, why did he get shot?
Yeah, that's what you said to me.
Fly the land. No.
You were like, Gatus, why didn't you pull the trigger?
Pull the goddamn trigger, you asshole!
You had a chance to save us.
He was right there. How did you miss? Dishonor.
Dishonor?
Dishonor.
That was a quote from Mulan. Haven't you seen that movie?
Yes, I have, but I like the fact that because he didn't shoot a man, it's dishonor.
Exactly, dishonor.
Other than that, that's really all I have to say.
The truce was nice. The Christmas truce was nice.
The truce was lovely. I mean,
Yeah.
We can talk about that later, though.
Well, there's not much to talk about. It happened in real life. It only ever happened in 1 year because, unfortunately, the officer said the soldiers would be shot if they did it again. Which makes you wonder, all right, the Doctor saved the captain, but how long for?
well, probably not for that long, but, you know,
Long enough?
long enough.
Let's put it this way. He didn't die on Christmas.
Yeah.
True. And, of course, the truce also gave the meaning to the true meaning to the title Doctor of War, which was another nice throwback.
All right, well, if we're going to talk about it, that was a beautiful scene where you just hear the music slowly start up on the German side. And it's like, you can't understand what the hell they're saying, but you just know from the tune.
Unless you can understand German, like I can.
Bitch, I'm trying to be emotional here. Shut the fuck up.
Okay, I'm sorry.
You don't know what the hell they're fucking saying, but you know that what they are saying from just the song, what it is, the way that it moves, the way that the music goes. And that's like the purest form of connection that we have. The fact that we can bridge across huge gaps like language barriers just by knowing something similar. It's like we know the Christmas carols. We know what they sound like. And even if they're in another language, as long as they follow the same structure and tune, we know exactly what that person's singing, what that person is saying. And it's like, that's the true connection of humanity. It's the fact that we can all be different and we can all, have different views and opinions and wrong opinions and right opinions and what have you. But in the end, this is what connects us.
That's a very
how
good
human
point.
we really can be.
And I think, given the year that's just been, and some of the things that have happened, or the way the world seems to be becoming a crueler and harder place by the day, I think a message like this was much needed, especially at Christmas time.
That's good.
Exactly. That's exactly what we needed. Was like the doctor said in the episode, this has never happened again. This never happened in the past. There was this one magical moment where two different sides who probably, as far as I know, all of them did not believe in what they were fighting for. Not all of them were there because they wanted to be there.
Yeah.
In fact, I bet none of them wanted to be there, to be honest. But not all of them believed in what they were fighting for. It's like, you could say what you want about the Nazi Party, but you can't forget that many people joined the Nazi Party because they wanted the help. They wanted to believe in, a bigger, better Germany. They didn't believe in war.
And some people joined them out of fear, of course.
Yeah, people joined them out of fear. People joined them out of hope. People joined them in order to maybe get a hot meal for one fucking day in their lives. The same is true of the U.S. military. You have people who join, like my dad, who genuinely want to help, who genuinely want to go in and help fight the enemy and keep us all safe. But you also have people who, they want to be able to go to school. They want to be able to, learn and grow and be better people. It's not all the same reason. And the fact that this one magical moment happened where two different sides with wildly different opinions can come together and sing one Christmas carol, and that unites them. That is what this year needed.
Yeah, I absolutely agree 100%. So that's all the major companion, the major characters sorted out. Now we go to the quote-unquote threat of the episode, which technically wasn't a threat. The Glass People, or Testimony, to use their proper name. That evil laughter is sinister as hell.
Oh, I know what's coming.
I don't. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, God, yes, I do.
About the testimony, Rainiac.
Yes, please.
Wait a minute. I think I've just got what's about to happen.
The testimony and describe them to.
You're going to say because they're made out of glass, they were literal mirrors, aren't you?
Oh, Rainiac, is your vision that limited? Not you're half right. They are made of glass, so they are literal mirror people. But also, they basically take the minds of dying people and copy them, becoming those people, mirroring them. In fact, they are literal glass mirror people who mirror other dead people.
Which means it's time for a certain alert system. Let me just pull that up.
Oh, no.
And there we are.
It's Doctor Who Mirror Alert.
Is it too late for me to jump out the window?
Yes.
Yes.
You're wasting your time. I've locked all the doors.
I bolted the windows.
Oh, so it's like Danganronpa.
Well, to be fair, my icon is Junko, so...
Fair point. Alright, get on with your mirror alert.
Like I said, the testimony. Literal mirrors of people. And they're literally made of glass, so... This is the ultimate Christmas present from Moffat. He's like, oh, I'm out, but guess what?
Mirrors, bitches!
Mirrors, motherfuckers.
One last screw you to me. One last middle finger as he's going out the door.
Oh, it gets better, but we can't talk about that yet.
You claim that they're the mirror people. I claim they're the people of bad CGI.
Well...
Because the CGI was a little bit ropey at times. Apparently it was worse on the pre-broadcast version. There's a reviewer called Clint Hassel who writes for DoctorWhoTV.co.uk a review of every episode. And he said that the CGI on the Glass People was really ropey on the version that he watched, but that was a pre-broadcast version. So it's possible what he saw was not what we all saw.
Okay.
But
I mean, let's be fair. It's Doctor Who. They don't exactly have the highest budget.
I mean, the facial expression on Bill when Bill was a glass person was hilarious. It really was.
Doctor Who. They have a budget of a kettle and string.
And the chief mirror, I called him mirror person. God damn it!
And the dog is going nuts again.
Welcome to my version of purgatory.
Welcome to hell.
How many seconds in eternity?
All that's in purgatory for Rainiac is a mirror and the sound of my barking.
How many seconds in it?
Ringing.
How many seconds in eternity?
Oh, and he has to
That's
try
one
and
hell of a
record himself
dog.
talking
And
without any of it going on.
That's one hell of a dog.
Okay, she's being quiet. Go, 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 go,
And the
go.
shepherd's
go,
boy
go.
says, mirrors. Okay. So the chief glass person, Testimony, I think was their official title, was played by an actress called Nikki Amuka Bird. I think she's Nigerian-British. She's new to Doctor Who, but she's not new to the Doctor Who universe. She appeared in an episode of Torchwood previously. No, it's one of the better ones. It was Series 2 Sleeper.
Okay.
Sleeper was alright. It was all about alien sleeper agents being activated and trying to stop them from destroying things. It was interesting. But the most interesting thing about Testimony is they're not evil.
Nope.
How refreshing.
Plan.
They actually have a good, beneficial plan for once. There's no sinister undercurrent. There's no hidden agenda. They are exactly what they say they are. They are there to preserve the testimony of the human race.
There's no evil plan. I don't know what to do when there's no
And
evil
not just the
plan.
human race, because obviously Nardole is not human, but to prevent...
Maybe eventually they just branch down to everything. Does that mean there's a glass dog?
Oh my god, there's
And
a
it's-
mirror dog that barks.
And entirely all its memories are just barking during our podcast. That's just all its memories.
Yes.
But yeah, I love the fact that there's no evil plan. That's so refreshing. And I kept expecting there was going to be a reveal later on, like, actually, there is a sinister part to this. And the Doctor's missed it, or whatever.
Yeah, the sinister part is that they can't have glass cats because then the cats would just knock everybody else over and break them.
God.
You love me.
Yes. So good.
Oh, I wish they managed to put my the memories of my old cat into a glass cat. That would have been fantastic. But anyway,
Right.
no, they were perfectly fine for what they were. Again, they weren't really used that much. Really, there was another threat of the episode, however, technically, and this was a real surprise because no one mentioned this at all in the pre-broadcast literature. No reviewer let slip that this was in at all. The return of goddamn Rusty.
See,
Yeah.
here's the ultimate fucking trick. It's like, you're watching the episode. I anyway was wondering what the hell that could be. And I thought, could it be like a Dalek or Davros or something? And then the Doctor climbs a flight of stairs. Oh, I guess not.
See,
But surprise! It was!
I thought at first it was Nardole, and he was really pissed off because the Doctor left him on the ship with all the Cybermen.
What
But
would have been
then
the
that
ultimate?
didn't happen.
What would have been the ultimate middle finger is if it was either John Sim or Michelle Gomez's incarnation of the Master.
No, you know what would have been a giant middle finger if it was actually fucking Gus.
Oh God, we're never going to find out who
Where
that
the
was.
fuck is Gus?
We're never going to find out who that was. And I'm
Oh
glad you
my
mentioned
Gus,
Gus. I'm glad you mentioned Gus because he's an example of one of many outstanding plot threads Moffat just never revisited.
Yeah, and that's why I said at the beginning that this wasn't a complete ending of everything.
And
because
of
he forgot
all of them,
fucking Gus.
of all the plot threads he could have come back to, Rusty?
Okay. I have a defense for this.
Was there even a continuation for Rusty? It was just like, oh, it's a Dalek that wants to kill all the other Daleks.
He went
Okay,
off with the soldiers at the end of into the Dalek.
That was it. At least with Gus, there was an actual ending. With the Sleep No More, there was an actual ending to follow. But no!
Well, we never did get that follow-up, and like we never will now, but yes.
Okay, here's
Don't remind me.
why I like Rusty. So, there's two reasons. The first is a callback to the early Capaldi era, closing the circle, all that stuff. That's nice. But the second is that this is an episode about memory. And the testimony are all about memory. And how did the Doctor make Rusty a good Dalek? It was from his memories.
Yes.
So, I like that little callback. That little bit of thematic resonance.
You know what would have been a better callback? If inside the tower was the T-Rex that they got spit out of while the Doctor had no memories.
Wow.
There you go.
Okay, but how is it shooting lasers?
It's not.
Dude, it's a T-Rex. It just does what a T-Rex does. Be awesome. Put lasers on a T-Rex, even more awesome.
Now that would have improved dinosaurs on a spaceship.
I know.
I still can't believe, by the way, and I didn't catch this at all when I first watched the episode. I had to look it up. That the planet that Rusty is found on, Villengard, was first mentioned in the Doctor Dances.
Really?
Yeah, Moffat's first proper script for the new series.
Oh, there you go, closing the circle again.
Yeah, technically. I think the Ninth Doctor refers to blowing up the weapon forges of Villengard at some point. It's been an eternity since I've watched the first series at all. Not to mention the Doctor Dances, but yeah, I think that was mentioned at some point.
But Rusty is a good callback. I like it.
Yeah, I mean it's basically just an excuse to stick a Dalek on the screen again, isn't it? So they can keep the rights going.
Well, I mean, the rights would have gone in. The rights have gone in anyway because the pilot, like 2017, is covered. Yes,
you're right. So they didn't have to put this in there.
No.
I take it from that reaction you did not like this.
I mean, it was cool to see Rusty again, but I was disappointed because there were so much better things to go back to.
I do like that he still tried to kill the Doctor.
I mean, he's a Dalek.
So much better things.
He's redeemed. He's redeemed, but he still views the Doctor as an enemy. What can I say? Once a Dalek, always a Dalek.
At this point, a Dalek trying to kill the Doctor is just a reflex action. It's like fucking sneezing when you enter a room.
Yeah. I was talking to Dracker soon after the episode aired. Because obviously we watched it at the same time, because we're in the same time zone, the same country. And he got that the little creatures that attacked the captain were Daleks.
Yeah.
I didn't at first, not until Rusty showed up.
I figured that. They looked like those lumps. But I
thought they were spiders. I thought maybe it was a throwback to Planet of the Spiders or something.
Oh, Jesus.
But he does say...
they were robots.
He does say some old friends, but mutated. So yeah, that was the clue there. But yeah, Return of Rusty, it worked, I guess. It was surprising.
Kind of.
It was surprising. But all of this, Rusty, David Bradley, was he not a sexist prick, all of that pales into insignificance compared to the last few minutes of this episode.
Oh
my God.
Go.
Oh my God, here we go indeed.
Are you going to let me loose on this shit?
There's so much to unpack here, but we're going to talk about the big thing, the big surprise. Clara's back!
Oh, God. Okay. So, I knew going into this episode that Capaldi meant a lot to me. This is the era where I started being critical about Doctor Who, being on this show and writing about it and all that. So I knew his departure would make me sad. And I kind of hoped, in my heart of hearts, that Jenna Coleman would make an appearance, because all the other new series Doctors have had a cameo from the first face saw before they go. So I was hoping for that. So I knew I was going to get emotional, but I admit it. I just lost my shit and Clara came back. It was real sad. And I lost my shit writing about it again. And I'll try not to lose my shit at talking. But before I go into my rant, what do you two think of it?
Kat?
I mean, what can we say except that it was not only a giant callback, but it worked. It worked really well.
There you go.
I mean, he gave rules for the next Doctor to follow. He talked about not eating pears, which I loved.
You're talking about regeneration.
We're talking about the final minutes before the regeneration.
Oh. Wasn't that before the regeneration?
Well, that's part of it, really. But yeah, all right, we can mold it. We can mesh it into one. But what do you think about Clara's return?
I mean, it was unprecedented. I didn't think it was going to happen because they brought back fucking Rusty instead of other good people they could have brought back. But no,
I thought it was going to happen for one reason. It was rumoured before the episode was broadcast that Jenna Coleman had filmed something for the final episode. Having said that, I still loved this cameo. It still floored me when she popped up on the screen. Yeah. She was not a glass person. She was all in the Doctor's head.
No, she was a glass person.
No, she was memories in the Doctor's head because she wasn't there when he looked, and the other two glass people couldn't see him. Couldn't see her.
I'm pretty sure that Bill turned into Clara.
No,
it could work either way.
No, because Clara's the other side of it. But they gave back.
That's a goddamn busy thing for Clara's.
They gave back Clara's memories, or his memories of Clara, to him as the reward for helping them with the captain. That was the whole reward thing. It wasn't Bill, as the audience is meant to assume. It wasn't Susan, as I thought it might be. It was Clara, and it was his memories of her, not her memories in general.
Before I launch into my thing, it's funny to think about Clara's life. In the half second before the Raven hit, she gets pulled out of time in the Hellbent. And then she goes back after all her adventures in her diner. And then in the half second before the Raven gets her, then the testimony come in and get her.
Yes, but she wouldn't remember that second time.
She wouldn't remember that second time.
No, but that would be pretty awkward. It's like, I already did do... Are we seriously doing this again, really?
Oh, God.
Also, given Clara's, what Clara's life was, and the Doctor's, my testimony would shatter all of you, that's why I don't think that necessarily was Clara as a glass person, because I'm not sure that they could handle Clara's memories.
That's right, because of all the splinters and shit.
They certainly couldn't handle a Shielder's memories.
All I know is when I saw it, there was Bill, and then she kissed the Doctor on the temple or whatever. She backed off. She was Clara. It looked like Bill turned into Clara.
I believe.
It could go either way.
I believe that Bill was still there, and Nardole was still there, and Clara was off to the side because Clara's disappeared by the time Nardole shows up.
Anyway, it was just a lovely little cameo, and y'all know, if you listen to this podcast, and you two know, how goddamn much Clara meant to me.
Yeah.
And just seeing her back again one last time to see the old man out was moving.
I did like a line of "Don't you go forget me again," because quite frankly, that was offensive.
For fuck's sakes, you played Russian roulette with that shit.
I know.
Oh, but that's Clara to a T.
It's another example of Moffat hand-waving away canon that he's previously established, but given that it's the final episode, and it's Moffat's final episode, it's Capaldi's final episode, and I suppose technically Jenna Coleman's for now anyway, unless she wants to ever come back, I'll allow it. Just to give a nice little send-off to Peter Capaldi.
I love it. I love her.
And if they ever want Jenna Coleman to return for, say, an anniversary special or something else, that door's open again now.
Yep.
It's not going to happen anytime soon because she's still busy with Victoria. I also get the feeling Chris Chibnall's not going to return to past eras, at least at first. So that's not going to happen for a while if it happens at all. But if they want to bring her back, the door is open.
Right.
We also have the return of Nardole, which was much of what it was.
It's cute enough. He worked in Series 10.
Yeah, I like the return of Cuddle.
Yes, it does mean that he died at some point.
Well, yeah.
And now that I think about it,
Left on a ship full of Cybermen. I wonder if he
I was going to say, now I think about it, he might have died just after the Doctor falls. Because all right, the Doctor blew up the Cyberman on the floor he was on, and himself, and Mrs. Body, which he didn't know about, and Bill, although she technically survived it, or did she now? I don't know what to think anymore. But it didn't blow up the whole ship by design, which means that the Cyber Factory is still working and still capable of sending troops to the upper floors.
Well, I mean, isn't that like the start of the particular type of stuff, Cybermen? Or I'm confused here now.
I think it's just an offshoot of those first start ones, and it doesn't really count for Cybermen
Well, to be fair, the ship is still going to a black hole, so either way, the Cybermen are dead. So
yeah.
I think it was slowly reversing out, which is what caused the time. disparity in the first place.
Do you really think that it would have that much, like that much fuel to be able to get out?
No, you could very well be right, but
yeah, especially with all the shit that they've been making, with the generating Cybermen.
So the Doctor decides it's time to leave the battlefield. At this point, he's still resigned to the fact that he's not going to regenerate. He's gonna end it. He's gonna end it all. This is the end of the line. He goes back to the TARDIS. Bill and Nardole disappear to give him peace at the end. But the TARDIS has other ideas, and so we get the thing we were all waiting for, the final speech and the big regeneration. Let's go on to that speech first of all. I love the fact they gave the 12th Doctor some dignity to go out on.
It's beautiful. I love that speech.
I think
maybe one of my favorite final Doctor Who moments.
Yeah, he quotes Bertrand Russell, the philosopher Bertrand Russell. Hate is always foolish, love is always wise. My God, are those wise words at the moment.
Lovely.
I would honestly say that if it wasn't for copyright problems, I would ask you to just put the entire speech in as our opinion of the speech, but
I can't do that. I can't do that.
You can't do that?
I have experimented in the past with what I can and cannot get away with. That I cannot get away with.
Yeah, that's what it's like. Sadly, we can't do that. We just have to tell you it's super fucking good.
I think this was possibly the best send-off, well, certainly since the 9th Doctor, because the 9th Doctor's send-off was shocking, because nobody knew it was coming. Well, some people might have known it was coming.
Look, but I didn't even know it was fucking possible.
I didn't. And it didn't overstay its welcome. He was just like, I've done a bad thing, and I was really meant to do that, and it's like, you were fantastic, so was I, and then boom, David Tennant. That was brilliant. David Tennant's farewell was great, but they really, really drew it out.
Oh, God, yeah.
The farewell tour.
Also, if I could just jump in, something that people like to do is take the very last line of the Doctor before they regenerate and make that sort of like their send-out. And David Tennant's was really weak.
I don't want to go.
And if I could say it, Capaldi's was really weak.
You think that was weak?
Really?
What, Doctor, I let you go?
Technically, I think his last line was, "One more lifetime won't kill anyone except me."
No, it was Doctor, I let you go.
Doctor, I let you go. Yeah.
Are you sure?
Yes, I'm sure.
It was after the big speech. He went, "Doctor, I let you go." Boom.
Maybe.
No, not maybe.
Even that was kind of weird.
I mean,
I liked it.
Matt Smith's send-off was dramatic, super dramatic. Pardon me, super dramatic. But the actual transformation was so disappointing because it was like,
you know what Matt Smith's last line was?
Hey. Yeah. It was hey.
And of course, we can't forget Colin Baker's most famous
carrot juice, carrot juice. Yeah.
Or Sylvester McCoy's last line. Ah!
Because the time of the Doctor is, for the most part, pretty great. And the way Matt Smith goes out in that episode, for the most part, is pretty great. On the tower, the dramatic regeneration takes out the Dalek fleet, saves the day. But then he goes back to the TARDIS, and it just didn't work for me. The speech is fine. The speech is emotional and dramatic. But, yeah, all right, his last word is hey, but also there's no great moment of catharsis where he changes into the next incarnation of the Doctor. It's just like, oh, I sneezed, and now I'm Malcolm Tucker. Oops.
I thought Matt Smith's last line was, "I will always remember when the Doctor was mean."
Yeah, but he also says hey to Clara when she's reaching out to him. Whether he meant to or not.
Yeah.
I think the belief was that, I think the common consensus was he wasn't meant to say hey, but they just left it in.
I don't know.
And it kind of ruined the moment, but hey.
I would like to say that Matt Smith in the beginning, he was worried he was a girl, and now guess what, bitches?
Yes. Also, of course, never ever eat pears.
Yes.
And I love the fact that for the final speech and the regeneration, they used the music from Heaven Sent!
Yay!
Murray Gold, I'm going to miss you, but what a great way to go out on.
Can I state a theory that maybe other people have thought of? I don't know. I don't really go on Doctor Who forums and shit like that. And maybe you guys have thought of it. I don't know. But can I state it?
You can.
I don't think it would happen just because this is really iconic of the character itself. But Did it feel to you like in this speech that the next incarnation would not be called Doctor?
That's an interesting interpretation of Doctor, I let you go.
Well, it's not even just that. It's like the whole, don't tell your name to anybody except children.
True name.
So on,
True
so
name.
forth.
Yeah, true name.
It just feels like not really an end of.
The whole thing. We spent 2 seasons not being able to find out, and then we didn't find it out.
Yeah. Well, we're not children in the right mindset, or whatever the fuck it was you said.
You said it.
I don't know. It feels like, honestly, again, it's definitely probably not going to happen, and also Moffat's probably being a huge twat like he usually is.
I'll tell you what it felt like to me: condescending bullshit, because it was condescending bullshit.
Yeah. Oh man.
No, it was fine. I like the bit like children can hear your name. I love the speech. I absolutely love the speech.
That was the only part that I was like, yeah, no. Can you just go back to the good stuff?
I'm just fed up with the showrunner talking down to the audience.
Well,
yeah,
come
really
on, you only have
like
3 minutes left of him.
It really felt like Moffat was trying to say, oh, there won't be any more doctors after this. It's just my doctor. All the other ones aren't the real doctor, so y'all can
I didn't read that at all.
But
I kind of did.
I do love the fact that just as how it was right for Matt Smith to go out on the long song from The Rings of Akaten. Peter Capaldi goes out on Breaking the Wall. It doesn't have an official title yet because we don't have the soundtrack for season 9. Although it's finally being released later on this year.
They're making Heaven Sent its own disc too.
Yes, praise Skara. We're finally getting a season 9 soundtrack later this year. But it was right for that music to be the last piece of music that his doctor went out on. It absolutely was.
I would have loved for it to be Clara's theme.
Yeah, but we had Clara, and I think there was a little bit of her theme played when she showed up at the end.
Yeah, but it would have been nice for them to mirror that.
Oh god, Kat! I'll tell you what, whose theme we did hear briefly during the regeneration, or immediately in its aftermath, when the ring fell off her finger. That still seems strange to say that, but the ring fell off her finger.
Chancellor Flavia's theme.
It was the Bad Wolf theme. All the way back from season goddamn 1.
Yeah, like I said, Chancellor Flavia's theme. Yes.
And can I just say that Jodie Whittaker looks genuinely excited to be playing the Doctor, and that's great.
Oh, I love... Oh, hey, guess what? Are we talking about Jodie Whittaker now?
Oh, God. What have I opened myself up to?
Are we talking about Jodie Whittaker now?
Yes.
Yeah, sure, go ahead.
Well, it is my pleasure to start off the era, right, by hitting this big button, and... Doctor Who Mirror Alert, the CGI face in full is a goddamn reflection from the TARDIS console, and we see the TARDIS reflected in her eye. Yes! We are beginning the Chibnall era with mirror imagery. Hooray!
Again, though, that was Moffat writing that, so it was still Moffat era.
I thought it was Chibnall writing.
No, it's well known that when there is a changing of the showrunner, because it happened in the End of Time, as soon as the Doctor has regenerated, the next showrunner takes over.
Oh God, Moffat infected him.
I did like how the first time we saw Peter Capaldi as the Doctor in the show was his eyebrows, and the last time we saw him was his eyebrows.
Oh, that's cute. I like that.
Yeah, that was great. You know what else was great? Her first words.
Oh, brilliant!
I was so scared they were going to draw attention to.
That one I got right.
I was so scared they were going to draw attention to the fact that he was suddenly a she.
Blimey, I've got etheric beam locators!
I thought her first words were going to be, well, these are new.
Oh, God. No, they did good. They did good. Oh,
yes.
Brilliant.
And they did even better, or Chris Chibnall did even better, because his first contribution to the show, as the showrunner, is to end the Christmas special on a cliffhanger.
Everything explodes.
Everything explodes and she falls out the damn TARDIS.
The Doctor is literally falling.
Now, unfortunately, this did leave the door open for jokes about women drivers.
Well, okay. Are we really going to address this?
To be fair, the TARDIS is a woman, and she's usually the one driving. The Doctor just, flicks switches.
Also, to all the people making those dumb hot takes, every other goddamn new series Doctor has, once regenerating, has spun the TARDIS wildly out of control.
And may I remind you of the entirety of Matt Smith's era where he couldn't control the TARDIS at fucking all.
Can I just say something about this? Do you really think facts matter to people like this?
I like to try.
Well, you can try all you want, but if facts don't matter to these people, then facts don't matter to these people. And spoilers, facts don't matter to these people.
Great.
I mean, for the love of Rassilon, they were also saying, you know, oh, the TARDIS rejected, even the TARDIS rejects the idea of a female Doctor. Her. Feminism is bad, but...
No, the TARDIS threw her out because she's like, oh shit, I have to get rid of all my male-on-female porn now. Hang on, let me change to lesbian.
Those were the pages that fell out.
So,
but this does...
Really brilliant.
I have to change all my fan fiction. Get the fuck out.
This does raise a very interesting point. Does this mean that the first series for Jodie Whittaker is going to have her stranded on Earth with no TARDIS?
I mean, it worked for John Pertwee.
I want to know how she lands.
I mean, that might explain why we have multiple companions in the next series, but I'm guessing she lands with a bump to Earth and breaks her spine, and then she regenerates again. And guess what? We didn't have a woman Doctor after all. Shortest era ever.
She falls, she lands on her back, she dies again, she regenerates into Samuel L. Jackson. I can dream, damn it.
I've forgotten the name of the actor who I was going to say it was, because he was the guy that everyone was expected the Doctor to be now. Oh,
yeah, I was going to say him. I can't remember his name.
The guy from Death in Paradise. This is embarrassing.
It starts with an I,
Chris Marshall. Chris Marshall.
Oh, yeah.
No, Idris Elba was from Luther, and he was also rumoured.
That's who I was thinking of.
But he's also been rumoured for Bond, and he's been rumoured for Star Wars, and it's never happened, so...
He would be a really good Bond. Seriously.
He would, but this is not a James Bond podcast. But no, I'm excited. Given her first 90 seconds on the show, I'm excited where the show might be going next with Jodie Whittaker at the forefront.
I have cautious optimism.
This show needs a change.
Yes, a big change.
I mean, Steven Moffat.
One that gets rid of Moffat.
I have to say, you know, we've disagreed sometimes on him, and I've not agreed with everything he's done. But thank you, sir. For the last 8 years, you dedicated to this show.
Yes.
For better, I've mostly been on board with Moffat.
For better or for worse, you still gave us an awful lot of brilliant moments, and some that were a bit wide of the mark. But you're only human. So
from a lot of the ones that completely failed.
From the bottom of our hearts, seriously. Well, no, I'm not going to speak for you two. For the bottom of my heart, thank you. And thank you to Peter Capaldi, thank you to Pearl Mackie, thank you to Matt Lucas, to Murray Gold, to Jenna Coleman, to Mark Gatiss, all the people that are now leaving the show, if not for good, then for a fair period of time.
Except you, Whithouse. Fuck you.
I wasn't going to mention him because he may not be leaving, but...
No, he is going to goddamn leave, or else I'm going to come over there.
I have to wonder if Chris Chibnall is going to bring back some of the old writers or have an entirely new set of writers.
New, please.
In keeping with the... Well, I don't want to lose Jamie Matheson or Sarah Dillard.
Yeah, keep them.
Look, Whithouse was that bad. I would very gladly lose those good ones just to get rid of him.
Oh, wow, Scorched Earth?
Jesus Christ. Well, okay.
Salt the earth, lad. Cat, I couldn't say it. Fuck. Salt the earth, lads. Cat has spoken. It wasn't even that worth it when I did get it out properly. Oh well. Yeah, I think all that's left is our overall thoughts. So we'll start with you, Frezno.
Okay. I really like this one. It was a neat little finale to the Moffat era, which I'm going to... It hit more than it missed, and The hits will help me forgive Moffat for greenlighting Lie of the Land. But it was a good send-off to Peter Capaldi. I really liked his final speech. David Bradley mostly worked. The sexism thing is iffy, but, you know, we don't have to worry about it anymore. The testimony, neat idea that probably won't ever come back, but it's a nice one-off. Clara's cameo, Ace's lovely, and the first 90 seconds of Jodie Whittaker are brilliant. So this was a good capstone to the Moffat era. I'm going to miss it. I know I loved it. And some people, it grated on some people, and at times it did grate on me too. There are some unfortunate bits, but overall, the Capaldi era is one of my new favorite eras of Doctor Who. It's had a lot of great things and only a couple of duds, most of them by Woodhouse. So, good on you, Steven Moffat. Good on you, everyone involved in the show. And Chris Chibnall, please, for the love of God, surprise me and give me something interesting, but not shit.
Okay. Kat, your overall thoughts on Twice Upon a Time?
I thought it was shit. No, not real. I just wanted to see what you guys would do.
I thought you were pulling our legs, but that was still great. Go on.
Yeah, I have to agree with Frez on a lot of it. There were some parts that worked and some parts that didn't. You know, a typical Moffat episode. There wasn't really anything too offensive, except for, again, the first Doctor. I mean, did he really have to do that? Yeah, I mean, Monster of the Week was fine. Really, it was just, you know, it was a Moffat-era episode for me, and it's like, those have been really hit and miss, and I think they did fine. It entertained me when I first watched it. So,
that's really all you can ask for, isn't it? If it entertained you.
Yeah, I mean, all in all, it was, like I said, there were some parts that really hit, like the bit with the truce in World War whatever it was. I completely forgot already. But yeah, I mean, it was a perfectly fine episode.
Okay. And my overall thoughts, it was perfectly fine for what it was. It wasn't that great as an episode, like as an adventure, as a story. But that wasn't the whole point. As a send-off to our lead actor and the showrunner and everyone else that's leaving, it was great. It really was great. It's not the best special in the Capaldi era. That honour, I think, goes to the Husbands of River song, because that was brilliant. But the focus wasn't on the plot. I mean, that's kind of the point of the Moffat era. The focus has not been on the plot. It's been on character building and the little beats. And in this case, the interplay between the two Doctors, and that worked really well, apart from the bit we've already mentioned that we're not going to mention again.
Oh, actually, can I mention two more things?
You can.
One, why was the first Doctor here? I mean, really, why was he here?
Fan service.
Yeah.
Outside of fan service, what did he mean for the plot?
I think the in-story explanation is that because the 12th Doctor is refusing to regenerate, and that would bring his line to an end, the first Doctor is also refusing to regenerate, and that would create a paradox. So they've got to convince the first Doctor to regenerate.
But the first Doctor never refused to regenerate.
That we know of.
That we know of.
Yeah, so literally they just went back to one of the oldest...
Okay, it was pandering, but it worked.
Just pandered.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was pretty pointless. And the second thing is, wow, that was really depressing for Christmas thinking about it.
Yes, it was. But barring a couple of missteps, which you've already talked about, I thought that the episode was fine. I thought David Bradley was a worthy successor to William Hartnell, the casual sexism bit aside. And I appreciated for once there wasn't an evil force or a plan for world domination. I think we haven't had enough of that. The downside of that, of course, is because there was no threat. It was a bit dull for some people, but that can't be helped. And this, as I've said before, I'm going to say it again, this truly did feel like the end of an era. And his tenure's not been universally popular, but I will say once more, a resounding thank you to Steven Moffat for his hard work. Because love him or hate him, he's put in so much hard work for this show. He really has.
Yeah.
And that's going away now, but his legacy will remain intact. So, again, thank you, sir, for all that you did, apart from the things we've mentioned that we're not happy with what you did, but that's fine. Thank you also to Murray Gold. It's going to feel very strange without your music, but I'm hoping I'll get used to it. I did like the fact that they played a lot of the old songs, the old themes throughout the episode, almost like a sort of a swan song for Murray Gold. So I like that.
I never noticed.
And the future, well, we're not quite sure what will happen in the future. We know there's going to be a Series 11 sometime next year, but sometime this year. I'm still not used to that. I'm sorry. January the 1st. I can't get my brain around it. We don't know when. I think it probably be later in, like late on, like the last few months of the year again, like they did with Series 8. And I think Series 9 as well was the later year, wasn't it? In the autumn. Yes, it was. Yes, it was.
I don't know.
It was really late because like 2 weeks after Clara disappeared in Dr. Falls, Along Come the Husbands of River Song. But
Dr. Falls? You mean Hellbent?
Sorry, Hellbent. Oh, I've been doing this for too long.
Well, that's okay. You get a break now.
Yeah, and we will come back and do a retrospective on Series 10, I believe, in the off season at some point. I don't know when. Don't press me on when that's going to actually be, but at some point.
Brainiac, when are we doing it?
Oh,
Brainiac,
God.
come on. When are we doing it? Come on.
I will turn this car around.
Damn it. I want to go back to Disney World.
You'll turn this car around and look in your side.
I'd just like to end with some thank yous of my own, however. We have done nearly 40 of these podcasts now, would you believe? Because I've done more, but the Series 7 podcasts weren't that great looking back. But they were necessary to really get the foundation for what we do now.
That's my Underwater Menace joke.
That was pretty good, but it set the foundation for what we have now. And I think what we have now, by and large, is pretty damn good.
Yeah,
and that's
it's all thanks to me.
Well, actually, yes, it's down to you. It's down to you, Frezno, and Kachiri, who couldn't be with us sadly because he was unavailable. But I'd like to think he was with us in spirit today.
Keeping the trope alive.
There you go. Now he's literally with us in spirit, and
but mostly me. It mostly is all my doing. I'm great.
I mean, you were brought in from Series 8 onwards. Yeah, all right, you're great. You're great. I'll let you have that.
Right I am.
But also thank you to the people that are listening to this and are the reason why I continue to do this. And that's the listeners and the viewers. And we don't have that many.
2 of you.
We don't have that many. How many times have we made that joke now? I'm trying to be sincere, Kat. Shut up. We don't have that many, but the people that do listen to this are the right sort of fans because I know that they enjoy it because they've told us. They told me so, and they told Frezno so. And I know that we entertain them, and that means a lot to me. So yeah, just a sincere thank you. Whether you joined at the beginning or you've come towards the end of the Moffat era, just a sincere thank you from all of us here. And I hope you all have a fantastic 2018. I hope we all have a fantastic 2018 as well, and a lot of good things happen to us. And I think I'll leave the final word to you two.
Yep.
And I know what Frezno's final word will be, so Kat, you go first.
Come back later for when we're all gender bent.
That's not where I thought this was going, but yeah, okay.
We're doing it.
I have run out of the energy to argue. So, I've been Radiac. Thank you very much to my guests, FreezingInferno and Kat, and we will see you later in the year to discuss Season 11, whatever that may be. Until then, thank you very much for listening, and bye for now. And Frezno, hit it.
You would make a good Dalek.
I lied. Mirrors.
David Cameron still fucked a pig.
Oh, God! Right, okay. Should we start?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. Carry us in 3, 2. Good start.
Yeah, I know. I'm just kidding.
We didn't even make it through the counting.
You can stop before I interrupt you with it.
We are twats. We didn't make it through the counting.
Okay,
right.
I'm just got that. I tried to get that out of the way before you did.
Okay.
Go.
Right. 3, 2, 1, go.
David Cameron fucked a pig.
God damn it, Kat! Oh, that's an outtake.
Are you trying to make the blooper reel longer than the actual episode?
Ooh, is that a thing? Can we do that?
No, I don't think you can.
Well,
we'll be
that's my challenge.
We'll be
Oh, great.
Can I please appeal to your better nature? Wait, no, you don't have one. We're fucked.
See, you are learning.
Keep this all in.
Yes.
Now all you have to do is realize that I have no soul, and then we can continue on.
Oh, so you're a magical girl.
Oh God, Frezno.
I told you you shouldn't have listened to that little cute thing, but no.
Look, I eventually skinned him and turned him into a backpack, so everything's okay.
Watch Madoka Magica, they said. It won't affect you at all, they said. They were wrong.
I'm not kidding, I really do have a QB backpack. It's awesome.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
The zipper is in its back, so you can open it up.
And then rip its guts out?
I mean, yeah, you could do that.
But yeah, twice upon a time, and getting used to me saying this, it was the end of an era.
Yeah.
And it really felt like the end of an era.
It was the end of 2 eras, actually.
It wasn't the complete end of an era, but it did well enough.
What the hell was that sound just then? I hope something better didn't happen to the neighbours there.
Oh shit, it's Mirror Rainiac. He's come to kill you at last.
I didn't even say it this time.
You don't have to. Just you being here is enough. If you're president, the mirror jokes will happen whether you make them or not.
You know, they say you are what you eat, but Frezno's not a giant mirror yet, so...
Kat's a little point there that it was the 60s, and William Hartnell was kind of like that, is kind of not true in a way, and because just think about it like this. Put that in the blooper reel, please.
Oh, timing.
No, we must no longer talk about this topic.
Italian chef kissing his fingers. Right. 3, 2, 1, go. Ladies and gentlemen, I was pausing in case you wanted to mess it up again, but...
You just said, oh, and it's like, oh, what?
Go, not oh.
No, I heard oh.
Okay. 3.
I heard oh and started laughing because I thought, oh, well, now we've all ruined it.
We present the podcast that never was.
Oh my god, the blooper reel's gonna be 5 minutes long. Just...
Corpsing, the podcast.
If I wish I want that dog to shut up.
Go. Damn it! Curse you, Fido!
Her name is Trixie, not Fido.
Curse you, Trixie! I don't know what your fucking dog's called.
Well, you do now. Okay.
Is it too late to jump out the window for New Year?
Yes. I've already bolted them shut.
God damn it. Alright, go.
Your time. I've locked all the doors.
Go ahead.
We are now taking Rampa.
Oh, God.
Fight.
What the fuck was that?
Monokuma's laugh?
No.
You were just like...
I can't do it.
So let's talk more about the testimony. I think you killed the cat. And you made the dog bark.
Alright. It was Monokuma's laugh as done by the Joker.
That was so shit.
Blooper reel.
It was pretty terrible.
Okay, I'm ready. Let's do it.
Okay.
Dog is still going nuts.
Will you please shut that dog up?
That dog has a mind of its own.
I don't care. Shut it up. So I think the main theme, sort of the main strand throughout this episode, was that the Doctor is a dead man walking. Is that fair to say?
That's fair.
I don't fucking believe this.
The phone is ringing. The phone will be right there.
Oh, it gets better, but we can't talk about that yet.
Trixie! Were you not hooked as a puppy or something? Stop!
Shut your goddamn mouth, Trixie!
She won't shut up for anything. She barks at anything that goes by. You can't shut the little lady up.
Barf, barf, barf!
A car drove by.
A car drove by.
You can't get close to the house, I'm afraid.
I love that. Your microphone cut out, it cuts back in, and Trixie's still barking.
God damn it.
I mean, you...
I was going to say, quick, go while she's...
You